Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and just to let you know that this video is brought to you by Squarespace. From online stores to websites to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one place to build an online presence and run your business. But welcome back to another video, and today I'm sharing a training session I had a few days ago. I got together with a few other players and we were working on some fundamentals, so a lot of passing, receiving and shooting. So I wanted to share these drills with you in case you're ever in the situation when you're with a few other players and you want some drills to polish up those basics. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So we began the training session off camera with a dynamic warm-up just to get the body prepared. Basically the exact same warm-up you'll see in many of my individual training sessions, with some dynamic stretches, some activation work with the resistance band, just to get the body nice and warm before getting into the session. And then I spent the first 5 to 10 minutes just pinging the ball back and forth, working on some first touch and some basic passing. I like to begin my sessions just getting that technique and first touch sharp before going into some slightly more intense drills, although today was all focused on technique. Not an intense training session. This is the kind of training session you can do to supplement your team sessions, so if you want to get those extra touches in just to stay sharp. After some pings, we went into some rondos. You'll see a lot of teams start their sessions this way, just working on those one-touch passing. You always put a player in the middle. I recommend if you have 5 players or less, just putting 1 player in the middle, but if you have over 5 players, try getting 2 players in the middle so you can work on splitting them. But I keep everything one touch with my rondos. I think that's a great way to get warmed up and sharpen up your reactions, because you have to make decisions really quickly. But if you want to modify this, you can start with 3 touches, you can reduce it to 2 touches, and then eventually finish with 1 touches after you've warmed up a little bit. But this is a great way to start the session, just gets you mentally and physically switched on. Then we just did some basic first touch work. So as you can see, 2 cones placed, and we're just taking a directional first touch from one side of the cone to the other, then playing the ball down the side. So we worked on going from left to right for a few repetitions, and then we went the opposite direction and worked on controlling it with our right foot, going across our body and playing it with our left foot. So very simple basic first touches using the inside of the foot, just working on those scans over the shoulder just to get in a good habit, even though there's no players around you. It's good to get that muscle memory down so it comes off in a match as well. And then we worked all together in this grid, so we've got 4 cones this time, and we're just opening up our body, going around in an anti-clockwise direction to begin with, just opening up with the right foot and playing it with the right foot also. And once we went through a few times, we went the opposite way just to get some left foot repetitions. With this drill, the goal is to minimize the time between your first touch and releasing the ball. You want a clean first touch, but you want to get onto it as quickly as possible. So really work on trying to minimize that time between your touch and releasing the ball. Then we went into a very simple shooting drill, combining a few passes to begin with, so the ball plays into the middle, they combine with the striker, lays it off, and then you're shooting first touch. So just taking a very simple shooting drill and adding a little bit more of a match realistic element to it, just with some combination passing, and then we're aiming for the small targets in the goal. We're working with a very small goal, with a good goalkeeper, so we really have to be accurate with our shots, have to deceive them in a way sometimes, might have to chip the ball over, but really trying to find those corners, because there's no chance of getting anywhere through the middle of the goal with a goalkeeper in place. So we worked on from one side for a few repetitions, then after we went through a few of those, we swapped over to the other side, but trying to keep everything either 1 or 2 touches, trying to be efficient with our touches, because that's going to help us in a match. We don't want to hold on to the ball for too long. We constantly want to be moving the ball and also moving off of the ball. So as you'll notice, as we play the ball, we're then following the person checking to receive the ball. The striker is also changing their movement, so the player on the ball has to keep their head up. Trying to incorporate as many match realistic elements as possible into our drills. So checking away, as you can see at the beginning, just reenacting like we're creating a little bit of space for ourselves. Little 1-2 with the striker, they lay it off, and then we're hitting the ball first time. There's so many different variations of the shooting drill you can do. You can be creative with it. You can lay it off in 1 touch if you want to, or you can work on this variation you'll see right now. So instead of laying it off 1 touch, the striker lays it back to that midfielder, then that player has to get the touch out of their feet. So we're working on our preparation touch now. We're only allowed 2 touches, so we have to make sure the ball is out of our feet so that we can get enough room to generate enough power to get the shot as well. So a few different variations of this drill, working on our 1 and 2 touch, different movements just to stay sharp. Once again, it's not really an intense drill, but more so a thought process drill. So really working on different decision making and also 1 and 2 touches just to make sure we're efficient on the ball. So this is the final angle of this drill here. As you can see, we play a 1-2, fizz it in as well. You want to be challenging your partners as well. That's the only way they're going to get better. So we're not playing the ball in really soft. We're trying to play it at them so they have to react, get that ball out of their feet and get onto it as quickly as possible to get the shot off. So we went through this, probably got about 30 to 40 repetitions each when you combine all three of the variations. Then after a few repetitions of this, we went into a very simple 2v2 to goal. Again, not 100% intensity, we're not trying to hurt each other, but I do recommend going in these 2v2, 1v1 situations as often as possible with your teammates outside of team training. Because when you don't have a coach there and there's no pressure, you can really express yourself, you can be more confident on the ball, and you can just get used to being in these 1v1 situations. It all comes through experience. The more you're in these scenarios, when it comes to a match, you've already rehearsed this opportunity, so you're going to feel a lot more confident in a game situation. So if you can get together with other players, work on 2v2s, 1v1s, just get used to being in these situations so that when it comes to a match you're not nervous, you've already been in this situation before. And of course, having an objective after your move is always important, so that's why we go to goal with this one. So we always want to be productive after we've beaten a player. But I really like these 2v2 situations because you have to pass and move. You can't always go 1v1, so it works on your movement off the ball as well. And you have to be really deceptive with your movement. So checking away, making one movement and then going in the opposite direction, it's going to be a lot more difficult for the defender to track you. So it really works on a lot of different elements in the game in a really condensed and concentrated area. So you're getting a lot of touches here, a lot of defending as well. So it's just going to help you in those situations in a match, because if you think of an 11v11 game, it's just a collection of 1v1 battles. It's you versus your opponent. So if you're a winger, you're going up against a fullback, and you're going to be in those 1v1 situations a lot with them. Sometimes you're going to have to defend them if they're attacking, sometimes you're going to have to attack them. It's a constant 1v1 battle throughout 90 minutes, and it's whoever comes out on top at the end is the player who won the most 1v1 battles. So if you can get in these scenarios with some of your teammates or your friends, it's just going to benefit you so much in a match as well. So we just played first to 5 goals. Spoiler alert, my team did win. I think it was 5-3 or 5-4 in the end. It was pretty tight. So even though we weren't going at 100% intensity, it's good to add that competitive element just to make you work a little bit harder, and no athlete likes to lose. So it's always going to be more challenging when there's something at stake. So as you can see here, it's all in tight spaces. It's really going to help you with your ball mastery, your confidence on the ball in those tight situations, which is going to make you more comfortable on the ball during a match. Then to end the training session, we just played a few fun games to work on our technique. So this first game is called Nothing But Net. So you place the ball inside the circle. It's a stationary ball and you've got to drive it towards the goal, and it's got to hit the net without bouncing. So it can't go wide and it can't bounce before it hits the net. If it does, it means you're out, and then it's the last player standing and the last player to hit the back of the net. So a fun game to play with your mates before training, after training, and it just works on that technique with a bit of added pressure. It's always fun adding that competitive element to whatever you're doing. Makes you focus a little bit more. So definitely try this one out with your friends if you can. You can have a target instead of a goal if you want to, so if you've got to hit a rubbish bin or hit a wall. But just a fun little game to work on your driven passing technique, because you can't lean back too much and sky it over just like that one. You've got to find the balance of leaning over the ball but not too much that it bounces, and not leaning too far back that it goes over the bar. So it's a really nice driven passing technique. So try this one out with your mates and see if you can be the last one standing. And then we played another variation of the same game, but instead of it being nothing but net, this time it's nothing but side netting. So really testing our accuracy out with this one. You've only got a small portion of the goal to aim for, and once again, it's got to hit the back of the net without bouncing. So test yourself with this one, try this one with your mates if you really want to work on that pinpoint accuracy. Then we finish the session with this basic 2-touch shooting drill. So we start in the corner with the ball, we play the ball into the square where the player's standing, so your first touch has to be within the square. So really working on the weight of that first touch, making sure it doesn't leave the square, and your second touch has to find the back of the net.
So you can work on a variety of ways to take this one down. You can take it down on the chest, take it down with the thigh, take it down with your feet, but making sure you're doing it all in 2 touches. Then the goal is to hit the back of the net without it bouncing once again, so trying to get it on the fly. And it's just a great way to work on the weight of that touch and also keeping it close enough to you so that you can get a shot off with your second. And then we ended the session with a few first time volleys just to work on that technique. Hitting the ball first time out of the air is always good to have in your locker.
So there we go, guys, that's the session for you. Some really simple drills there that you can take away if you're ever in a situation with a group of players and you want to work on those all-important fundamentals. But I hope you enjoyed today's video, and before I go, I just want to say another huge thank you to Squarespace for their continued support here on the channel and sponsoring today's video. Before Squarespace even sponsored any of my videos, I already built my own website through Squarespace, so I really appreciate this partnership, and Squarespace has been an absolute game changer for my brand. A couple of other really cool features about Squarespace that I love is that you can pick your own domain so you can represent your brand in the best way that's authentic to you. So instead of .com, if you have an art business, you could pick .art. If you have a training business, you could pick .training. So you can really make it exactly how you want it. And also they've come out with a members only area as well. So you can put exclusive content on your website that only your members get to see. And that's something I'm going to be looking into as well, to provide you guys with even more content that's exclusive for members only. So I'd really recommend checking out Squarespace. If you have an online brand or a business, Squarespace is an absolute game changer. And if you use my code www.squarespace.com/7mlc, you can get 10% off your first website. That's going to be in the description box below. But I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button for weekly training videos, and I will see you guys in my next video.